What's up, guys? How are you doing? Before I actually get into my flashback review of the Simpsons movie, I want to thank all you guys, especially everyone that I've talked to and interacted with and communicated with and have commented on all my videos. Today is a special day. It's Saturday. It's a weekend. It's always special for everyone, but this is a special day for me because on July 27th, 2019, it marks my 1 year anniversary of doing Movie Emporium. And that is crazy because on July 27th, 2018, I posted my first video, which was of Mission Impossible Fallout. And the fact that I'm still going 1 year later is not only exciting to me, but is something special that I never thought was possible. I mean, in December of 2018, I did my first year anniversary of my Trench Run podcast, which, please listen to if you get a chance because it's great, Star Wars, all that good stuff. And there's something truly remarkable about a first year of anything, whether you have kids or animals or house or food, not food, but you know what I'm saying. First year of anything is like something of a milestone. Yes, you get your 2, 5, 10, 15 years or whatever you want to get, but the first year kind of shows not only are you committed to something, but you're willing to show that it has been worth it, I guess you could say. And it really feels like it's been worth it. Yes, there have been struggles. Yes, there have been bumps. Yes, there have been bruises. There's a lot of times where my videos don't get a lot of views, but I've always found myself pushing myself forward. I like the thing in Meet the Robinsons. There's a quote where it says "Keep moving forward," and it was part of a Walt Disney quote, and I use that motto every day. And it's insane when you just kind of drive yourself forward, when you keep going and when you keep pushing yourself, that you get somewhere or something happens. And when I first started this, you can go back and watch my first video. It was pretty awful. It was shot on an iPhone. I was using my mic that I used for my trailer reacts, and it wasn't good, but it was something that I could call my own, and I could really develop into something better. And I got better mic and a little bit better lighting and so on and so forth. But I also got to thank everyone who has watched it, everyone I've interacted with, anyone I've ever talked to, everybody who I still talk to. The one thing I never thought would happen is people would be willing to kind of give me feedback. They're still willing to, enjoy my content, but they're willing to give me kind of ideas and stuff that I can improve upon. And it's not saying that, everything works, but the fact that, I've met so many cool people through this channel is just, I gotta thank you guys for that, because there's nothing more special than having people really believe in what you're doing. And it's something that kind of boggles my mind and kind of excites me and just entrances me in just a way. And I just gotta thank you guys for that, and I gotta thank you for still watching my content and still enjoying it, and helping me get through, because there's been some rough points and I'm still going through rough points in my life, and this has been one of those constants where I always feel like I can express myself and enjoy doing it. And I love movies, whether it be sports, if some people like sports reviews, game reviews, game channels, all that good stuff. But either way, I want to thank you guys. I don't really have anything to do as a celebration video. It's just not how I am. I do, like I said, I have something at the very end. But I'm going to do it how I always do it, give you a review of something. So let's go ahead and do my flashback review of the Simpsons movie. Thank you as always, guys. What's up, guys? Welcome to Movie Emporium's Flashback Reviews, where we take movies from our past, break them down, and tell you what we think about them. If you like what you see, hit that subscribe button, hit the notification button at the top, and comment below on any of these videos. So, here we are in my second year, and the first movie I wanted to talk about is based off a TV series I love, something I've grown up with in the last 30 to 35 years, or however long this TV series has been on, and it's something clearly a passionate thing of mine, and of course that is The Simpsons. Everybody knows The Simpsons. They love it. They've seen the show many, many times. There's season 1 through 10 is considered one of the greatest sections of TV in history, and deals with a family in its town of Springfield. And I can't tell you how much I love this show, because it's a show that has done so much to kind of lift my spirits through some of the stuff I've gone through in my childhood. I could always rely on Homer and Bart and Marge and Maggie and Lisa to kind of pick me up and pull me forward, because when you go through tough times, you can rely on not only these characters but other characters to kind of transport you into a world, whether it be through humor or drama or whatever you want to call it. And that's what The Simpsons has always been. You can go look back at stuff like The Homer's Enemy, or Camp Krusty, which was going to be the first original movie of The Simpsons, and just enjoy yourself for 30 minutes or 20 minutes or however long the episodes are. And what I wanted to do in this episode is talk about The Simpsons Movie, which actually, ironically enough, which I didn't realize when I put it on my list to review, because I was going to do this as my 100th review. But then I'm like, you know what? I'm going to do this as my year review. I'm going to talk about how special it is to me and so on and so forth. This movie not only released on July 27th of 2007. Now, that's like 12 years, so it's not really the decade and 20 years I always talk about, but it released on July 27th, which is my year anniversary, which is this day, which is crazy. I was like, wow, I couldn't believe what I was here. I couldn't believe I read that. I just can't believe I didn't realize that. And I guess it's kind of ironic when you think about it. It's kind of just happened circumstance and whatever you want to call it. But yeah, July 27th, 2007, this movie released, and my YouTube channel was started on July 27th. So there you go. But the Simpsons Movie is an interesting thing because, like I said in the beginning, it was originally going to be Camp Krusty. Camp Krusty, if you don't know, is about the two kids, Bart and Lisa. They go to Camp Krusty, and it turns out to be a nightmare. Everything goes wrong. It's a complete disaster, and everything is settled in the end. But this was going to be a full-length feature movie, and it fell through. If you know anything about movie making and animation, Matt Stone and Trey Parker did it with the South Park movie, where they were doing the second season or something like that, and it was a complete just chaotic mess. They were stressed out, they were burned out, but they made a great movie. And here's what they did with the Simpsons Movie, where they had enough people that had been writers come back, take care of the movie, get David Silverman back, who actually directed the first episode of this whole entire series, and create this project, which still burned them out. But it's interesting to see, even when this movie was being developed in 2005 to 2006, it wasn't as bad as what Matt Stone and Trey Parker were doing. So in essence, it still worked out. But this movie is, a long time in the coming, in the making, which 20 years or so. But like I said, the thing that's interesting, like I said, about this movie is the fact that it brings back, for instance, like Al Jean, Ian Maxtone Graham, Josh Weinstein, Bill Oakley, John Swartzwelder, Mike Scully, Mike Reese, George Meyer, Matt Selman, John Beatty. It brings back, outside of Brad Bird and Conan O'Brien, some of the most talented writers in the history of The Simpsons. Josh Weinstein and Bill Oakley, for instance, were in the golden age of The Simpsons as showrunners and writers. So the fact that they brought them back, the fact they were all working with Matt Groening and James L. Brooks, who is a very famous producer, made this movie more impactful than it could have really have been. This movie could have been a complete flop and a failure, which The Simpsons at this time had been kind of on the downturn. From seasons, I think, 11 through probably 14 or 15, The Simpsons was just a complete disaster. There's some really awful episodes. Nothing worked. But when certain people left, Al Jean took over and kind of put the Band-Aid on and kind of let the wounds heal, the salt and all that stuff, and kind of turn The Simpsons into a more adaptable show. It's still not perfect. There's still a lot of terrible episodes, but it's more reliable. You can justify it more as a TV show that is more of an institution than it is a TV show. So, but The Simpsons Movie, like I said, long time coming, is a pretty basic, straightforward story. Homer messes up. His family has to pay the price for it. They go on the run. and eventually Homer saves the city. Well, what makes the story interesting is the town of Springfield has basically polluted the waters, and the band Green Day dies because of it in like a Titanic style mess where they're watching Green Day basically play a song, and then their barge is getting destroyed, and so they put a wall around the lake to kind of clean the lake out. Well, Homer, after he's basically disgraced Bart because he challenged Bart to go basically skateboard naked, he inherits this pig that was going to be killed filming a Krusty Burger commercial. And when Homer can't figure out what to do with his droppings, he takes it to the lake. The lake gets more contaminated and creates a problem. Things get mutated. A squirrel gets many eyes. And the character played by Albert Brooks, who plays Russ Cargill, he basically devises of a plan to put a big bubble around Springfield. Once everybody figures out that Homer Simpson is a culprit, they go after him to try and kill him, and somehow through a sand porthole or whatever, the family's able to escape to Alaska. Well, because of what Russ Cargill is doing to manipulate the presidency with President Schwarzenegger, which I love, they decide that they're going to blow up Springfield because Springfield's getting out of hand. You know, they're doing the whole Mad Max syndrome thing or whatever. And when they find out the town's going to be exploded, thanks to one of the greatest cameos in history with Tom Hanks, the family go and try and rescue Springfield. And Homer basically doesn't want to go back because he doesn't want to accept that he's the one that caused this problem. And his family leaves him. Marge gets tired of it. After all the stuff that Homer has done to Marge, Marge gets tired of it. Family leaves to go rescue Springfield themselves. And Homer has to have an epiphany. And therefore, he goes on a quest to save not only his family, but save Springfield. And that's exactly what he does. And there's some really fun moments where, you know, Homer gets stuck between a rock and a hard place, which is a rock, hard place. You know, he sees a jetpack with a bubble because he's going to climb up the bubble, and instead he uses super glue. And there's just this crazy amount of stuff with Homer and his goofiness and his irreverent humor and so on and so forth. You know, some stereotypes get brought out that, you know, were kind of hidden throughout the whole story of the Simpsons themselves. And you know, the movie's not perfect. Even for its 84-minute runtime, it still feels kind of choppy in a lot of places. You know, there's a point where between them leaving Springfield and them going to Alaska, the whole carnival stuff where he has to like win a truck is all right. You know, I guess it's fine, but there's just stuff like that where it feels like some parts were different writers than the other, and it creates a lot of chaos and a lot of weird moments. But it's still a Simpsons product. It still feels like a collaboration effort, and it still does work in the context of The Simpsons itself. And that's why I still love the movie, because you can still watch it and you can still feel the love of these characters. You know, the problem with the SpongeBob movie, which is, I'm going on a tangent, but the SpongeBob movie had a lot of characters that you really loved, but a lot of them didn't have voice work. And it was the same thing with South Park. There's a lot of moments where, you know, because it was so early in the season, like Randy or Butters or other characters didn't get voice work because it wasn't there. And here in the Simpsons movie, that happens, and that's an amazing thing. But you know, like I said, everybody gets their moment. Everybody has their fun times, and you know, Ralph says some really funny stuff, and Martin Prince gets his moment, and Cletus gets his moment, and so on and so forth. There's a really funny moment at the beginning where Itchy and Scratchy are basically playing President Kennedy, and Itchy basically what happens is Itchy maroons Scratchy on the moon, and Scratchy's going to threaten him to tell on him that he left him on the moon and so on and so forth. It's really funny. It's a great Itchy and Scratchy episode, but the animation also in this really pops. It's really vibrant and colorful. It's really fascinating to watch The Simpsons come from such a weird, off-putting art style to this very clean and colorful and vibrant look that the movie is giving, because they're going full on digital in this movie, which has been a long time coming. And, you know, they did it for several seasons, but this is true HD Simpsons, which really played into, I think, the 20th season when they went from standard to high def. And it really shows how much a series can pop, how much a series can look when you give it a little more care and vibrancy and so on and so forth. I know I repeated vibrancy, but you know what I mean. But otherwise, on top of that, the characters, Dan Castellaneta, Julie Kavner, Nancy Cartwright, Yardley Smith, Hank Azaria, Harry Shearer, all of them get their moments in the sun. I think Julie Kavner is doing some great work as Marge because she has to have a lot of depth and a lot of emotional arc to her character to kind of prove to Homer that he needs to change. This was always the problem with Homer, is he never changed, and this really gives him a lot more to work with, I guess you could say. And then of course Lisa gets her love interest with Colin, who's an Irish guy, Irish kid, and Bart is just very against what his father is doing because of what Ned has been teaching him about fatherhood, because he's so used to a style with Homer with the choking and so on and so forth, that he can't handle the fact of how Ned treats him, which is good and compassionate and just good. It's just a good natured person. And there's a really fun moment where Bart is up on a tree or down on the ground, and Ned makes this like hot chocolate, and he like makes it like I really want it with like the whipped cream and marshmallow and stuff like that. And that's, like I said, that's what Ned does. But I just overall, I think this movie just has a lot going for it. I think the only thing I truly don't like about this movie, and it's more of a nitpick than anything, but just something that really bothers me, is the idea that they didn't bring Alf Clausen to do the score. I know he's busy working on the TV show, and that's fine, but I love Hans Zimmer. I think he's an amazing talent of a composer. Everything he's done with Christopher Nolan recently has really enveloped his work that he is known for. He's been around for decades. But when they hired him to do this movie, the music just sounds really different and really off, and something about it just doesn't fit in my context of what The Simpsons is. And yes, it gives it a more theatrical feel, more scope, I guess you could say, in its feeling and dynamics and so on and so forth. But when we're dealing with The Simpsons, I still want a Simpsons style score. And yes, we get the Simpsons theme and so on and so forth, the Danny Elfman's theme, but I just feel like something about that score that Hans Zimmer put together, outside of the Spider Pig stuff with that he puts in there, is just really, really, there's something strangely weird about it. And I can't just not notice it. It affects me every time, and it kind of takes me out of the movie a little bit. But it's not saying it's a bad score. I just really wish they would have gotten Alf Clausen, who was doing the series for decades at that point, until he got fired for no reason because of greed or whatever. But yeah, no, I mean, it is what it is, and I still accept the movie for what it is. It still has a lot of fun moments. There's a lot of crude humor and irreverent humor and so on and so forth, but that just bothers me a little bit. So, but yeah, outside of that, like I said, you get your Simpsons moments, you have fun with it, and there's a lot of good times to be had. So, but yeah, that'll do it. That'll be my take on the Simpsons movie. Tell me in the comments below what you think of the Simpsons movie. Tell me what you think also of the Simpsons. Do you like it? Do you not like it? Do you like any part of it? All that good stuff. Like I said in the beginning, hit the subscribe button, hit the notification button at the top, and comment below on any of these videos. Once again, thank you guys. Like I said, this is my year video. It's been a year, 365 days since I posted my first video. And like I said, I have something very special, or not really special, but special to me, that I put at the end of this video. So anyways, thank you so much for watching. Peace out.
Mission Impossible Fallout. enjoy these reviews, and so on. So with that, thank you so much for watching my first review of Mission Impossible Fallout, and that's a wrap.